Alright, peace be upon you, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? Now, in today's video, I just want to speak quickly about why I believe people who inject testosterone, inject synthetic drugs for muscle mass and athleticism purposes, and specifically those who try to counteract the natural developments that occur in the body when you age through these synthetic drugs, why I believe they're cowards and there's something severely, deeply wrong with them spiritually, and that there's actually an inner weakness within them that they're trying to hide through the big muscles and the strength and, oh, look at me, my guns are hugging the sleeve. They're trying to hide a weakness that's deep inside. So you'll see these people, and it's prevalent in the red pill community, guys who live fast, live hard, as it were. They don't find a good woman to settle down with. They don't dedicate their life to God. They always want to be the big hot shot, just driving around the nice car, the best looking with the big muscles, hugging the sleeves. There's an insecurity in these people, and they're not satisfied in their own masculinity, just serving God and silently being a righteous man, silently performing their duty, doing what's right. No, they need all of the approbation from the world around them. Yo, bro, you're looking jacked. Or the girls, oh, you're so hot and beautiful because you're so muscular. They need the world to look at them in this, what's the word I'm looking for? In this grand light, in order for them to feel important, in order for them to feel like a man. And they're not secure in their own masculinity. And that's why they tap into these drugs like testosterone, like, what are some of the other ones they use? What's the name of that compound? They inject it in horses, or it's for horses. They use it for themselves. Tren, I think the Tren, maybe that's not the one they use with horses, but Tren and Test and all these things, and they'll inject them in order to look a certain way. And really what it is them trying to hide a deep set insecurity. They are not, why would they? Why would they do this? For what other reason would there be other than them being insecure in their own masculinity? And they need to look so big and muscular, be such a spectacle when walking the street in order for them to have any sense of their own feeling of manhood. And another thing about them, you'll see, especially men who get older, men in their 40s and 50s and 60s, there's a natural weakness that God puts in the body as you age. It's a part of life. You start out weak as a baby, then you grow, you get stronger, you peak around your 20s or 30s, maybe early 40s, and as you enter your 50s, 60s, 70s, you get weaker, and then eventually you die. There's a lesson in the development of human life, how we go, how we get stronger and then weaker. It's for us to reflect, and there's nothing for us to be afraid of. It's a normal part of life to grow old and become weak, and then a new generation comes and they take over the world, and we try to pass on wisdom and knowledge to them. These people run away from that. They run away from aging. We all, to quote the anime Yu Yu Hakusho, Genkai, she said, we all have a fight with time. And basically these people, they're trying to run away from that. They are afraid of aging. There's a certain period in your life where you're youthful, you're full of exuberance, vibrance, energy, vitality, and you feel like you can take on the world, but that's only for a fleeting moment. It's only for a certain time, and it's normal for us to move into a different phase of our life as the years go by, move beyond that and reflect upon what we were and what we are now. There are lessons in these things, and the people who inject steroids as they go into their 40s and 50s to keep the muscle mass that they had in their 20s or even exceed that, they are afraid of moving on. They are attached to the life of this world. They run away from the most important fight, which is the fight with your own identity and who you are. They're just playing pretend and make believe. You're not actually a jacked, muscular 20-year-old. You're a 50-year-old who's injecting synthetic drugs, and you've got the muscles that look like you may be 20 or 23 or 24 or whatever, but you're pretending. You're only fooling yourself. You're running away from the reality of who you are. You are a 55-year-old man, and you're still trying to live like you're an immature 20-year-old. And even if you are 20, I'm 23, I don't live like that. I don't recommend any of you live like that. This kind of sleeping around, boasting, look at me and how wealthy and muscular I am. This vain lifestyle. I don't recommend it for anyone, but especially as you get into an older age, people, they learn their lesson as they get older. They should at least say, oh, I was a foolhardy kid back in those days. But these people, they want to still live that kid-like life. They are running away from who they are. And for all of these guys who like to act like they're strong and masculine because they have these big muscles, I mean, you guys, you wouldn't know masculinity if it hit you right in the head. You don't understand that. If you guys are really so masculine, strong, and manly, why are you running away from who you are? Why are you spending thousands and thousands of dollars and cutting off years of your life to run away from who you are? You are a 50-year-old man. You are not a 22-year-old bodybuilder. So why are you running away from that? How come you are so insecure in who and what you are? And, you know, that, like, I don't know how you can look in the mirror and see a person looking back at you who isn't really you. You're just enormous, puffed up 22-inch anchor arms. You know that's not you. If you hop off that cycle, that's gone, right? You're living on borrowed time and borrowed muscles and borrowed strength. And that's my big question to you guys. If you're so manly and strong, we're supposed to look up to you. Many of these guys are either fake natties or open non-natties. That they'll admit, you know, the red pill guys, many of them will admit that they're on drugs, and a lot of them won't as well. They'll say that they're natty, whatever the case is. But for anyone who is using these drugs, why are you so afraid of who you are? You know you're not Mr. 260 pounds ripped and shredded to the bone. You know you're not Mr. 22-inch arms. Your arms would be more like 13 inches right now. You know you're not the girls that you're going after, the 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old. You know you're not in their league. You're old enough to be their father and grandfather. So again, why are you so afraid of who you are? True masculinity accepts with grace what it is, and whatever the strength you have that God has given you, whether it's great strength when you're in your 20s or relative physical weakness when you're in your 60s and 70s, you dedicate and consecrate that to your Lord, and you don't hold on to this life because you know there's better in the hereafter. Nothing can faze you, nothing can move you, nothing can scare you, because you're not attached to this world. You're looking towards something better. That is true masculinity, not what you guys are doing. This is a fake, pretend, cartoon parody of what real masculinity is. You're running away from the real fight. And there's a funny quote I heard, which is a little bit explicit, but it is true. And essentially, what the guy said about, I think it was Elliot Hulse, or maybe Elliot Hulse heard it in his comment section. He said that guys who inject testosterone, tren, deca, whatever it's called, all these substances in order to look a certain way, to have these muscles which are not theirs, it's no different really than a woman putting silicone in her chest or in her buttocks to look a certain way because she maybe looked like that when she was young, and now she's lifting herself up in the way. It's just fighting against reality. We will clown, or men will clown on the woman who injects silicone in herself, but we won't clown on the man who injects synthetic hormones into himself to look a certain way. Again, it's all just running away from reality. It comes from a deep, disproportionately exaggerated attachment to the life of this world. That's what it is. These people are cowards. They are weak. Any guy that you see who's injecting drugs and they just look like a bodybuilder, you are weak and insecure. Why? Because you are not satisfied with who you are naturally. And on top of that, you are attached to the life of this world. You're so afraid of leaving, not only leaving the life of this world, but even leaving the strength of youth. You are afraid of moving on. And any time I see somebody with a disproportionate, overblown physique just traps up to, I'm not talking about working out and keeping yourself healthy. I love that. Obviously, I practice that myself. I encourage you guys to do that. But when I see somebody who has clearly elicited, what's the word I'm looking for? Extracurriculars. He has brought into his arsenal extra help from synthetic sources to get a certain type of physique which is not normal and natural. I can tell you are somebody who suffers from severe internal weakness, which you're only compensating for with the outside muscles. You want everybody to think of you as strong. And the vanity behind it as well is something to consider, because nobody injects 1,000 milligrams of test a week to be a family man and have a wife and kids and take care of them. No, anybody who does that, they do that for one reason only, especially if they're not on any bodybuilding stage. They only do that so that the girls can be impressed with them. Pretty much almost anybody who's injecting, who's pinning, they're living a sexually immoral lifestyle. And this also shows more of their insecurity as well. They can't just be satisfied with one woman, a wife, or wives, or whatever. They have to be with a new woman every night or every week in order to feel like a man and feel desirable. Again, they're broken. They're like, they like to look like a lion on the outside. Look at me, I'm so strong. But meanwhile, on the inside, they're this little, sweet, delicate house cat. That's how it goes. So, and what I was saying about the vanity quickly before I sign off is the human body was not fundamentally designed to pack on loads and loads and loads of muscle indiscriminately. Yeah, there's a natural limit that God has placed within us, and so long as we remain natural and we build muscle in a natural way, then it's healthy and good. It's actually beneficial to human longevity. But having all that excess muscle that these bodybuilders have when they're pinning themselves with testosterone, that's hard on the heart. If my pecs were like, let's say, just out to here because I'm injecting myself with testosterone, that's all this unnecessary extra muscle tissue in my body, which then my heart has to pump blood towards. My massive quads, my heart has to pump blood towards it. My heart is working overtime. It's actually burdening my heart. So even in the weakness God has given us, even in the limitations that God has put upon our physical strength, there is a wisdom there as well. We are not meant to look like these aesthetic trophies on stage. That isn't our purpose. Our purpose is to be, to serve our Lord and be strong, healthy, capable, and able to do things in the cause of God, not burdening other people, being able to help our family, help people around me, defend our nation. And it doesn't require being a bodybuilder. But again, with these people, there's a skewing of the priorities. There's a skewing of what is truly important and what's not. And again, it comes from arrested development in the spirit. They have not spiritually matured and seen what this life is about. So they're holding on to the foolhardy days of youth. They never want to let that go. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's really all I got to say on the matter. I hope this talk was a blessing. And yeah, peace to you. Remember, deceit abounds, so keep your eyes wide open. Peace out.